Hey there, this is a little story about how it gets better. Um, my name's Richard. I'm a big old homosexual. I'm quite proud of it. It does get better, absolutely, no question about it. It's hard, no question about it. I'll try to cut to the chase. When I was 13 years old, I was riding the school bus. I had grown up in New York and I'd moved to Colorado, and I was lassoed on the school bus by one of the cowboys from far back in the bus. The lasso comes around my neck, and I got my fingers underneath it. He's yanking on it. His brother comes up and slams my head into the window on the bus. Bus driver never stops, doesn't do anything about it. And then he tells his little brother, the guy who hit me in the head, "Come on, find him, let's get off the bus." And they get off at my stop, and his big brother, convinces him that he has to beat me up. He doesn't actually really want to, but doesn't want to lose face. I haven't done anything. They just decided to pick on me because I'm the weak link on the bus. I'm clearly gay. I was very quiet, little, effeminate in some way. So, I got a punch in the mouth and my braces and my lips are bleeding, and I go up into my house and my mom says, "What's going on? What happened?" And, "Oh, nothing, nothing." So she comes onto the bus the next morning, and she's a little firecracker about this tall, 5 foot something, and shouts, "I want to know who lassoed my son." And so this guy comes walking down the bus, and big cowboy hat on, says, "I did." And she just stood up to him with her finger and she said, "Don't you ever lay a finger on my son. If you want to beat anybody up, you beat me up. You beat me up. Don't you ever touch my son." She gets off the bus. I'm completely mortified. I'm like, okay, here's a mama's boy, right? Oh my God, I'm so mortified. The next day, my father and I went up to this property down the dirt road to the house of the boys. And he knocked on the door and asked if we could speak with the father. And so the father and my father and I all sat together in the living room. And my father said, "I just have a couple of questions for you, as a neighbor down the roadway. You watch the news, right?" I said, "Yeah, I watch the news." "So you are aware of the wars in the Middle East, and I would assume you're a reasonable man, and you're opposed to the war and killings and all that, right?" "Yeah." And then he says, "So if you're opposed to war, and you would believe in world peace, for example, how is it that we can't get along as neighbors, and that your sons can beat up my son on the bus? That's my only question to you. Thank you for your time. Good day, sir." And we left. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. Like, he was gracious and honest and made the person think for themselves. Didn't shout and create any threat, but just basically said, "Come on, what are you thinking?" And I gained a tremendous amount of respect for my father at that moment. And they knew I was queer. They always knew. I was the guy who was looking at my grandmother's clothes and saying, "Why are you wearing those gold shoes when you're wearing a silver dress? I don't get it." Like, that's just who I was. I'm still that way. I'm still into costumes and still challenging myself to kind of break out of my comfort zone today at 45. But I'll tell you, even though I had that support of my mother and father, there was a moment where I climbed up onto a cliff out there in Colorado, and I contemplated jumping off that cliff because it was going to be too hard for me to manage. I was gay. I didn't want to be gay. And I looked down and I thought, might die. But the only reason I didn't do it was because I thought I might only break my legs, or I might only be paralyzed, and then I'd have to live like that. Not because my parents were amazing people, or that I would have broken their hearts to leave the planet, but because I was selfishly thinking I don't want to have to suffer even more. That's being a teenager. The world revolves around our mind. It's so hard to be a teenager. It really is. But find some friends. Go online. Read. Look at Ellen DeGeneres and Dan Savage, how they're making it a little bit easier for us, right now, for us to be able to communicate to you as kids. making me actually make a video and say it's going to get easier. And I promise you it's going to get easier. And it will be hard. There's no question. But you can do it. Be really strong. I'm so happy I'm alive today. I've got wonderful friends. I've been madly in love. And my family and friends support me. And your family and friends will support you. They may not understand you today, but maybe in the future they'll come to realize how amazing you are and how beautiful you are, and that they're proud of you. And if not them, then it'll be your friends who are amazed by you and proud of you for doing the work. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. I've got you back. We all do. We have you back. We love you. All right? So close your eyes, take a big breath. Remember, it's going to get better. It really will.